Have you ever wondered what it would be like to manage an orchestra, recruiting and hiring musicians on the cutting edge of their instruments, setting up venues for your group to perform in, making sure all the logistics of getting your musicians from one gig to the next come together, communicating with your investors to make sure they're happy, while keeping in touch with what the fans want from place to place? It can be quite stressful and rewarding all at the same time. But then what if you were doing all of this through the vacuum of space and the venues you're performing at are on vast planets several galaxies away? Now you're experiencing Philharmonix, designed by Faris Suhaimi from Archona Games. Philharmonix is a sci-fi economy game for 1 to 4 players in which players will place their worker on a chosen action each turn, use a required amount of action points to carry out those tasks, and seek to collect the most prestige points by the end of the game. This will be accomplished by hiring the right musicians, performing shows in the right systems, making sure your conductor is properly trained, and keeping the fans pleased wherever you go. The game plays over the course of 5 rounds. During each round, players will continue taking turns until their action points have all been used, or they wish to discontinue taking actions. In either case, they will pass and generally choose in which order they will go in the following round and receive a bonus. Once everyone is passed at the end of the 5th round, some game-end scoring occurs, and a victor is determined by whomever has the most prestige points. During the rounds, however, players will be able to spend action points to carry out their choice of 6 major actions: develop, recruit, practice, compose, perform, and patrons. There is also a basic action of touring and/or gaining money. There are also 4 free actions that can be carried out before or after your chosen major action, but we'll discuss those later. The basic action, tour or gain money, allows you to use action points to move through the systems and/or gain money. Moving allows you to gain experience points and possibly pick up fans along the way. Action points can be used to gain either 1 movement step or 3 money per action point, and they can be split between the 2 however you wish during your turn. The first major action, develop, is how players can gain an amount of experience points according to the strength of the action, or spend experience points to upgrade their action point limit for each round, thus allowing them to also advance their symphonies, which will be important during final scoring. The second major action is recruit, which is how players will be able to add new musicians to their orchestra from those available in the market. The strength of the action will determine the cost of the musicians. Taking this action also allows the player to spend additional money to recruit a 2 or 3-star musician, provided your ship is in the correct region to do so. The third major action is practice, with which players will be able to gain 1 to 3 training points to use on either their musicians, their conductor, or both. Upgrading your musicians gains you progress on the orchestra rating track, which awards the player with various endgame bonuses. Training your conductor allows them to perform different kinds of symphonies, making it easier for you to please the masses wherever you perform. The fourth major action is compose, which allows the players to add 1 to 3 available symphony tiles to their player board from the market. Fan tokens can be used to re-roll the symphony market before you choose what symphonies you'll take, and you can spend additional money to create an additional symphony too. The fifth major action is perform, which allows players to perform their symphonies and gain prestige points and money. In addition to points and money, performing will also gain your orchestra more experience. The more symphony types that your orchestra performs that match the types of symphonies the people in the sector want to hear, the greater the rewards. And finally, the sixth major action is patrons, which allows players to claim new patrons and or activate patrons they've previously claimed. Multiple players can claim a patron, but players can only claim a specific patron once. Having patrons will allow you certain benefits throughout the course of the game that will make it easier to do other things. They are not something that you'll want to ignore. Before or after any of the actions we just discussed, players may also perform any of the following 4 free actions. When a player's action track is at or exceeding its action point limit, or when a player no longer wants to take any more actions, they may pass. When they do so, they will be able to take 1 experience point or 2 money for each unused action point. In the first 4 rounds of the game, they will also be able to select their player order for the next round and receive the benefit associated with the place they choose. In the 5th round, they will take 1 of the record cards used for final scoring. At the end of the 5th round, players will score prestige from their chosen record card, 3 prestige for each region in which they have performance discs, and 1 point for every 10 remaining money that they have, and add it to the prestige they gained during the game. The player with the most prestige is declared the winner. In case of a tie, the player who performed the most wins, and then the player who attracted the most patrons wins. And if there is still a tie, the player with the most remaining money wins. Do you have what it takes to take your orchestra to the height of prestige in the Malaya galaxy? Will your name go down as one of the most accomplished composers in the galaxy? There's only one way to find out. If anything I've shared here today piques your interest, I'm sure the fine people at Archona Games will appreciate your investigating what they have to offer you during their crowdfunding campaign. Check it out and see what you think. Thanks for being here. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.